Good morning. Welcome back to day 2 of my Melbourne vlog. It's 6 a.m. and it's beautifully quiet. I like to start my day with something that stimulates my mind like reading, but I've left my book at home, so I've decided to get a head start on some work. Once I've done a little mental conditioning, it's time for physical conditioning. Today you're in luck. I'm taking you to my all-time favourite gym in Melbourne. But unlucky for me, it's leg day. As you would have seen in my interview with Robin Whiteley, you cannot find time, so you must make time for the important things. Now let me show you the beautiful view from this gym over the iconic Flinders Street station. I finished my workout and it's time to connect with some Canadian colleagues. This meeting is called Vegemite and Maple Syrup. I think it's amazing how technology has enabled us to connect with people on the other side of the world. And Jess Lazinski spoke about how we use it to connect with customers, and here is a great example of how we use it internally to connect with colleagues. This is David. He's the Canadian version of me and even copied my name, but just not as handsome. Only kidding. Equally as handsome and probably even more charismatic. We met at the One Young World Summit last year. We're waiting on our 2 other colleagues, Mick and Fatine, so I take this as a walking meeting. Of course they rock up on girl time, but it's nice to see them. It's been a productive start to the day. The only problem is my stomach is making whale noises because I am starving. So I throw everything into my duffel and it's time to find some of that famous Melbourne brunch culture. I know it seems like a pretty hectic start to the day already, but this is the norm for me. And I'm a big believer in we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. Hardware Society is a cafe I have heard so much about, and it's literally around the corner. Look at the setup here. Melbourne, you never disappoint with your cafes. The coffee here is a work of art and the breakfast is the fuel I need. This city truly knows how to start the day right. Now, in sales, pre-call planning is critical for success. It's just like hosting a dinner party. You wouldn't decide 5 minutes before the guests arrive what you're going to cook. Similarly, you wouldn't rock up to a customer appointment without a game plan. The 3 things I look at when planning are: number 1, researching the account; number 2, researching the customer; and lastly, looking at what else I need to understand or uncover. So just about to head off to the Northern Hospital. It's over in Epping, Melbourne. Interestingly, there is an Epping in Sydney as well. I've never been to this area before, not sure what to expect. It's pretty far from where I am. It says 45-minute drive from the CBD. And my biggest tip would be, hospital parking is always a nightmare. It's my first time going, so I'm going to give myself an hour to get there, figure out the car parking situation, and then I need to go to Henry's Cafe. Sometimes they're buried in the basement. I've got no idea. So yeah, my biggest tip, just in case there's traffic, just in case there's a parking nightmare, always give yourself a huge buffer and try be there much earlier. My other tip, get on Waze. Melbourne, different to Sydney, has a shitload of speed cameras, and Waze is going to help me navigate that and keep me out of trouble. And yeah, you should be good. I like to sometimes put on a podcast for these long drives. I will get through my phone calls, call my teammates, call my manager, speak to someone in marketing. So yeah, the next 45 minutes, whilst I'm in the car, I'm still going to be working and getting productive things done. And last one for good measure, I wear these because I'm partly blind, but also I think I'm taken a little bit more seriously when I've got glasses on. I don't look like a 13-year-old that's still in high school. Strap yourself in, let's make our way. So I ended up dodging the car park nightmare and leaving my car at the nearby Costco. This hospital is huge and looks very futuristic. They must have just had a renovation. There's a lot of walking hallways in this job, which is great for getting your steps in. Important not to forget your mask. So, just finished our field day, back in the car. A couple of thoughts or tips. Our clinician was late, and often they are because they're seeing patients and unexpected things pop up, so that's just part and parcel of the job. You need to be patient. But yeah, it was very productive, learnt a lot. I think one of the big tips, if I can give you when seeing a customer or clinician for the first time is to be curious and really understand how you can add value to them. So some of the questions I used today were, what resource do you wish you have but don't have at the moment? And just sort of let them speak off the cuff. And even ideas that I had in my mind, I would be very vulnerable and ask for their honest feedback. And if they think it's a shit idea, tell me, because we can dump it. I don't want to waste resources on something that is not going to add value to them. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed coming out to Epping with me. And I'm going to drive back now, find a quiet spot in the hotel, get through some emails. I got some data to look at as well, and getting ready for the flight tonight, which reminds me, I need to check in. So I'll speak to you guys later. Now, full disclosure, I'm not actually in the sales team anymore, but if I was, best practice would be to log the call notes straight after the call. Most companies have a system called Viva to do this, and it's a great way to make sure the next time you see your customer, you are adding value and building on what you previously spoke about rather than starting from scratch. So we're back at the hotel. Sadly, I don't have a room anymore because I've checked out. But hopefully I haven't picked up any speeding fines on my way back. And the seating in this restaurant has a spectacular view over Melbourne. Perfect for me to do my data analytics. After that's all done, it's time to head home. I make it to the airport safe and sound, and I'm ready to clonk out. Actually, look who I've bumped into. Another friend on the plane.